Not all probiotics are created equal. New Purina Systemic Supplement remains live and active after the pelleting process and throughout the digestive system, making it all the way to the hind gut. Systemic was designed to support normal recovery after exercise and occasional gastrointestinal stress. Whether you're using a probiotic now or not, it's time to use a live and active supplement from a name you trust. Visit mq.purinamills.com to try Purina Systemic Probiotic Supplement today.
You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
Greetings, everyone. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily, episode 1577, brought to you today by Horse and Rider On Demand. On today's tip, Dr. Cubitt answers a listener question. Is it okay to feed my horse hay treated with preservatives?
Horse and Rider On Demand allows you to train smarter, not harder. Our training video collection, featuring some of the industry's top Western professionals like Bud Lyon, Cody Crow, Ryan Rushing, and more, can help you perfect your horsemanship and improve your performance in the arena. Get access to hundreds of videos and learn more about events like ranch horse versatility, reining, working cow horse ranch riding, and more for just $14.99 a month. Watch anywhere, anytime. Horse and Rider On Demand can be streamed from any smart device. Visit ondemand.horseandrider.com to start your 7-day free trial. That's ondemand.horseandrider.com.
So happy to welcome back to the show. Haven't chatted in a long time. Dr. Tanya Cubitt from Performance Horse Nutrition. Thanks for coming by.
It has been a long time, and I am excited to be back.
I had a listener question for you, and I Googled it and said, oh no, I need an expert for this. She was asking about preservatives in hay. Why are they used, and are they bad for my pony?
That is such a great question, and I think that there's so many parts to it, but ultimately, we love our animals to death, and anytime we say the word preservative, it kind of, is a preservative a good thing? In human foods, we want to be eating all natural, whole foods. We don't really want to be eating foods with a lot of preservatives. But then if I said, well, did you know that things like vitamin E and vitamin C are natural preservatives? So it's not always a bad thing to use a preservative, and there are certainly more natural preservatives that we use. In the case of hay, ultimately, how you make hay, you've got grass growing, and grass is 80% moisture, 20% dry matter. And when you cut that, if the conditions are perfect, i.e. there's not a lot of humidity and moisture in the air, then that grass will dry out so that it's only about 15% moisture. And anyone who's been in the hay business knows that farmers will do different things, like they will ted it, they will rake it up and flip it around to kind of air it out and dry it. But when it's about 15% moisture, they will then bale it, and that will be safe for horses to eat. But there are certain climatic conditions, especially on the East Coast. We have a lot of humidity. We have a lot of moisture in the air. And sometimes it's just not possible to get that hay to dry to 15% or less moisture content. Maybe there's a storm coming. Maybe it's just a humid time of the year. And so we don't want to waste that whole crop. We want to be able to bale it. And so it's not that we're baling hay that is completely wet, but instead of it being 15% or less in moisture content, now we open that window to say 16 to 30% moisture content. So we have a lot more flexibility to save that hay crop. But when you're going to bale it with that much moisture in it, we then do need to use a preservative to make sure that it continues to dry out and that we don't want mold growth, because we all know that mold growth is really, really terrible for horses. So the primary preservative that is used in the hay industry is something called propionic acid. Now, immediately people say, acid? What? I don't want to put acid in my hay. That sounds like a terrible word. I don't want that. But then if we dig a little deeper, propionic acid is actually a natural ingredient. It is a volatile fatty acid that is actually made in the hindgut of the horse by the microbes that live there. So this is a completely natural preservative, and it's natural to the horse. It's not like we're putting some synthetic foreign preservative on this hay that the horse is not going to know what to do with. Now, that allows us, as I said, to save that hay crop, to get it to dry out, to prevent mold growth when the climatic conditions just aren't in our favor. Most horses don't even know that you've put it on there. Some of our picky horses, though, it can give a slightly acidic taste to that hay. So some horses may be a little bit more picky with hay that's had a preservative sprayed on there. It is 100% safe for your horse. It's not going to make his gut more acidic. So the questions that I've had is, well, I'm trying to combat gastric ulcers with my horse, which I know I've got to decrease the acid in their diet or in their gut, and now I'm putting acid on the hay. Is that making it worse? No, absolutely not. It is neutralized when it's on the hay, and it's just really killing off that mold growth. So it's completely safe for the horse. It may change palatability slightly. So if you have some hay and you think, this kind of has a bit of a sour taste, the first thing I would ask the hay grower, did you have to use a preservative? I'm fine. I just would like to know, because I do have a couple of picky horses, and they may not love it. But it's absolutely safe to feed to horses.
Well, fascinating stuff. Thank you very much for answering that rather confusing question, because I didn't know there was such a thing as a preservative for hay, but as it's so hard to produce hay and the profit margin for hay is so low, I'm glad it's available, because it's a real struggle for farmers to make hay profitably. And if farmers can't make hay profitably, they're not going to make hay, which makes getting hay for us even worse. So I'm glad it's out there. For folks who have questions about horse nutrition, where can they find Dr. Tanya Cubitt online?
They can find me at performancehorsenutrition.com.
Perfect. Well, there you have it. Horse Radio Network has thousands of engaging podcasts for horse people, and you can have them sent right to your phone. Just subscribe via your favorite podcast player. This is Coach Jen, and I will be back again soon with another tip. Until then, go ride your horse. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements made by guests on the Horse Tip Daily. Please use your own judgment when listening to the tips on this show.